This week, we're going to look at the Niyamas, and we're going to bring that tool in to assist us as we go through all of these changes, all of these energies, etc. So with the Niyamas, this is actually the second limb. There's 8 limbs. We've talked about it before. This is the second limb, which is all about personal internal observation. So observing ourselves internally. It is the inner code of conduct. And the Niyamas govern private practice, what you do when no one is watching. So how are you really, even if no one's there to hold you accountable? That kind of idea. Are you still showing up the way you truly show yourself? Like, if met you the same way, would you be the same type of person, right? And we also have that Guru Purnima, which is that Vedic holiday honoring teachers and their teachings. And with this niyama, the second limb, it asks, what are personal practices that keep you honest, grounded, and connected to something larger than yourself? Then we bring in that the basket has completed, and we're in this full moon illuminating what we've opened over the last number of months. And then Saturn retrograde, which is asking for the long-term discipline. So the niyama of internal foundation that sustains a basket are made possible. So it really is appropriate. So when we look at the niyamas, just a quick overview of what they are. We have 5 parts to the niyamas, which are, again, how you really are. The first one is satya, which is purity, cleanliness of body and mind. So this essentially means, what are you consuming physically, digitally, emotionally? That is making you less clear. So what are you taking in those type of themes? Again, physically, digitally, emotionally, maybe what we're also physically, physically consuming, right? That type of stuff. Let's see if Mike is able to join us back here. Hello.
Hello. We'll see.
Okay. Perfect. We are in the niyamas, and we're going over the 5 right now, just so you know where we are, and we'll see if you are able to get moving. And if you can join us for the rest of the show.
I'll just sit and look pretty.
Isn't pretty. So we just went over the satyas, which is the first, which is, what are you consuming? It's asking that question. Then we have santosha, which the idea is contentment, but it's not about being passive. It is the practice of being genuinely present with what is without grasping or pushing away. So it's a level of being content, accepting the reality. You may not necessarily like things, but you come to a terms of being able to accept things you cannot change, right? And kind of come to that contentment, even if you're working towards, fixing things or making things smoother in your life, but you can be content anyways through that process. Then you have the tapas, which is discipline and inner fire. So this really talks about commitment to your practice, even when it's inconvenient. So are you still keeping what important practice is for yourself? And Saturn's retrograde in the planetary versions of tapas. So it's really highlighting, what is it? Are you able to stay committed even if it's inconvenient? Can you motivate yourself to keep showing up, right? Then we have the Sadhya, which is self-study, reading, reflection, and honest inquiry about your own nature. And then especially under that Guru Purnima, which is the holiday of teachers, that is the holiday of this part of the niyama. So self-study, reflection. And then we have Ishvara Pranahana. I apologize.
Pranadana.
On the screen. That's the last one there on the screen. It is surrendering to the divine, to something larger than yourself. So this week's full moon in Aquarius conjuncts Pluto, and that's the astronomical version of that practice. So we're going through, interestingly enough, the planets are aligning to really kind of to emphasize this type of practice of surrendering to something larger than ourselves, that divine energy. So we're going to, the practice is very simple, especially bringing it in on the 29th when we walk into that Guru Purnima, which is that Vedic full moon of honoring teachers. So the practice for this week is reflection, and just to take 5 minutes in the morning before you begin your days, especially on the maybe one teacher who changed one thing or something for you, or a lesson you're still learning, a practice you're committed to for the next month. That type of stuff is highly aligned this week. And especially if you can do it every day this week, that's a wonderful practice. Just get down, take 5 minutes, write down, again, under the idea of teachers who have changed you or helped you grow, a lesson, so being thankful, a lesson you're learning, or practice that you're going to get back into that committing to, right? So those are the things aligned. Guru Purnima Niyama practice, especially on the 29th when we go through that honoring the teachers' days. So the Niyamas aren't asking you to be perfect. We're looking at honesty and consistency. And then with that barbell basket being completed, we've opened the conditions for new to come in, right? And if we're going to go forward, let's be honest with ourselves as well. So this is a perfect time to do some reflection. And then that full moon with its emotional accumulation of what is coming forward and opening, since we're now out of the Mercury retrograde. And then the Niyamas are asking, what are the personal practices that you will keep, that you'll continue to keep you in aligned after this week has passed, keeping you going forward. So I guess the question really goes is, which of these feels most relevant to you this week, right?
Not
Any
sure.
thoughts?
I know. I was listening to the descriptions of them, and I'm like, tapas, svadhyaya. Maybe
The
tapas.
discipline, the discipline of showing
Inner
up.
fire.
Inner fire, the inner fire, exactly. And well, it's being honest too, right? If you say it, are you still this way, right? Like, or if somebody's not there holding you accountable and watching your actions, will you still make that the better choice? It is very much like having a situation, which actually happened in my life, where I was pregnant and I accidentally backed into somebody else's vehicle. Nobody saw me. There was nobody around. And in the reality is, you've got a choice. You can take advantage of that choice and do the hit and run. You can easily do that. Or even when there's nobody around and there's nobody to hold you accountable, are you going to stand up? And this was before there was cameras everywhere spying on you, but I would still felt so bad, because all I can think about is like, how it would feel to come to my own vehicle and have something smashed, which we've had, and people don't ever take responsibility for it. And I don't want to inflict that on somebody else. So that would be a perfect example of going, will you still do the right thing? So I still left them a note with my stuff, because I didn't know where they were, and for them to contact me. The worst thing is they didn't find my note for a couple of days, but that's a whole nother story. But it's can you still do the right thing?
I was so mad at you, but it's because I can't find the note you left.
Exactly. They reported it as a hit and run. Then, of course, I had to go back and say it wasn't, because they didn't see the note. And I was like, you guys didn't even look very good, right? Like, I'm like, how did you not find
it into some crevice of the car? Like,
I didn't purposely hide it, so I don't know. But nonetheless, that is an example of like, who are you really? So if there's nobody there, nobody holding you accountable, if we didn't have these flock cameras watching your every move, and people are watching you, are you still going to act in a way that you would be proud to be, reflect on, right? And that's the whole thing, is like, it is self-reflection. It's very much like seeing people say things like, oh, I'm all about not being in drama, yet they literally create drama all the time in their own lives. So you see,
don't even bring those people up, because
but it's a hypocritical thing. It's the whole thing that they don't reflect in their own lives how they've treated people, and then when somebody treats them the way they've treated them, they're like, oh, I'm out of this drama. There's no self-reflection. But this week is calling you to be that self-reflection. Like, are you really what you say you are? And there's so many people we've learned and ran into that say something, but then their actions don't match that. And this is a time to do that self-reflection. It's, you know what? If you don't like that you don't match, this is a great way for you to walk in and stand up and become a better human. I don't know if a lot of people will be called to do that, because that means you got to reflect and you got to actually look and do, like, is this action okay, right? Would I be okay doing this back, etc., and being honest, which people have a difficult time doing.
Of course.
It is. It's hard. It's difficult to be honest, especially to yourself. It's easier to live in delusion. Just spam everything.